Successful tank night for the Jazz. Let's talk about it. It's the Hoops Nerd Show. All right, guys, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Let's just get into this. The Utah Jazz lose to the Portland Trail Blazers by like a bajillion. This game at no point was particularly close. And in a lot of ways, this is a reminder that this Jazz team is Jekyll and Hyde. Road versus home, they sometimes look like an absolutely different team. This Blazers team is also playing very well. You've got to give credit to them with what they're doing. And they played extremely well tonight. You got to ask yourself, why can't this Utah Jazz defense do better? Although I don't know if they want to or if they're worried about it. So not something to lose too much sleep over if you're a Jazz fan. But next season when Utah is really trying to win, it would definitely be something to ask. Utah has had the worst defensive rating in the NBA for like 3 seasons in a row now. And in fact, let's look at that real quick before we look at let's talk about the Blazers really fast, and then we'll look at that defensive rating. The Blazers shot the lights out. They also took 48 threes tonight and shot 39.6%. So they made 19 threes tonight. It is hard to lose a game when you are shooting that well. And I'm excited for this Blazers team for when they get Scoot Henderson back. I think that his playmaking will be fun for them. And then also Drew Holiday is out right now. When he comes back, he'll just add to the defense they have from guys like Tamani Kamara and some other really good defensive players on this. Well, I guess Tamani Kamara's probably their best defender, although Donovan Clingan is an absolute rebounding monster. And so they've played really well together. You add Drew Holiday and Scoot Henderson, who I think can be a solid defender when he tries. It's a pretty impressive thing that the Blazers got going. Now, I don't know if they're going to win a title or anything like that, but they are a team that's kind of learning and growing an identity, and one of those is just defensive intensity on the perimeter, and it did well against the Jazz. I don't know. I was impressed with Donovan Clingan again. 17 rebounds, 12 points. That was against Yusuf Nurkic, who's been a very big-time rebounder for the Jazz, who got 12 rebounds and 21 points for Utah. Nice job by Donovan Clingan and this Blazers team. Their leading scorer being Shaedon Sharpe, who played awesome. Oh, no, Denny Avdia, who absolutely crushed tonight. And then Shaedon Sharpe had a great night as well. So, nice night. If you're a Blazers fan, you're seeing things just improve. And then if we go to the tankathon here, just to look at the Blazers, Portland is almost in the playoff picture here. In fact, I kind of want to go to NBA.com. Let's go to the standings just out of curiosity. And let's see. So the Portland Trail Blazers are at 9 in the play-in. If they could somehow get a winning streak going, it's going to be tough for them to get past Minnesota. This is how tough the West is. If you want to get into this race, you've got to overtake someone like the Houston Rockets. I can't believe the Rockets have fallen to 5th there. But this is a tight race. And then they've got to somehow overcome Phoenix and Golden State. I think Portland's better than Golden State, the way Golden State's playing right now. So we'll see. But they're playing pretty well. They look pretty well beating a Utah Jazz team. They've won 3 in a row, which is good for best in the West win streak-wise. Interesting. Utah right now has lost 4 in a row. The only teams playing worse than it. I didn't think the Kings and the Pelicans would be this much worse than Utah, but here we are. I do think the Pelicans are going to overtake Utah eventually because they have nothing to lose. 4, but man, are they bad. Poorly coached, poor everything. It's crazy. And, Derek Queen should just be given the reins and let him play because everything else hasn't worked. Let's talk about the Jazz. All of a sudden, I'm not feeling the greatest. I'm not going to lie. Ugh. But anyways, Svi Mikhailiuk played 20 minutes tonight in this one. At some point, Utah's got to trade him to a contender. He is a nice, player that stretches the floor for a winning team. Outside of that, he doesn't really do a lot else for you. Tonight, just didn't play particularly well. And Utah, he's shooting like 40% from the season. Utah has to get something for him because I don't think he's really that impactful of a player. And I was thinking about it, this Jazz team is in really good. Well, let's see. We were going to look at let's see. Let's go and look at this really quick before we dive too much. I want to look at just defensive ratings here. Utah might be worst in the NBA now. Let's go to advanced. Utah is the number 30. Look at that. Utah is the worst defense in the league again. Worst defense in the league. And then as far as offense, Utah is at 16. That's crazy that they're at 16. So Utah's doing something right offensively, but defensively is where they're losing these games. They are so bad defensively. And this is probably manufactured, losing Walker Kessler hurt. But they were the worst defense in the league last year and the year before. Literally, this is the third year in a row the Jazz are the worst defense in the league. This is probably by design. But next year, this is something I'm not going to watch this too much because I think this is what Utah's doing to ensure they keep their pick. And I am extremely proud of the Jazz and super supportive of this, how the events are unfolding. But next year, we're going to watch this close. We're going to watch this real close next year. To start the year, when the Jazz were trying to win, they were in this, remember, they were in the 20 to 22 range, which was actually pretty impressive. And, having a good offense can help with that because you're putting the opposing team in half-court sets more often. But Utah's been a terrible transition defense and just terrible at the rim. Those are likely, at least at the rim, defensive numbers are manufactured. That is something Utah could change very quickly by putting in Walker Kessler. But there's some things to be a tiny bit worried about. This is why the stuff with Lauri Markkanen makes me nervous because he tests out very poorly defensively. Now, if Utah puts him at the 4 next year and has Walker Kessler back, I actually think he'll be pretty okay. I think Lauri Markkanen at the 4 is average level defense, which is great for him because if he's giving you average defensive output and then the offensive output we know he can, especially if the Jazz win the lottery and get a star that can make Lauri Markkanen the third option on offense, and then when Ace Bailey takes a leap he's third or fourth. That's wild. But I think defensively is where you just got to wonder how this Utah Jazz team can improve, and Lauri Markkanen at the 4 I think is okay. If Utah wins, and let's say they draft A.J. DeBonsa, that team next year is going to be phenomenal. But defensively, the only difference we're really going to see is Walker Kessler. I don't know how much better, but maybe the Jazz changed some things in how they defend in transition and in the half court. Who knows? We'll see. So I'm not worried about it right now much because this is what Utah needs to do. They got to keep their pick. And if we go to Tankathon right now, look at this. Exciting. Utah is at the 6th spot. They have lost 4 in a row. They are 2-8. And then you look at these records. Washington's won 5 of their last 10. Brooklyn's won 5 of their last 10. Michael Porter Jr. is playing out of his mind. Washington is getting elite play from Alex Sarr. Elite play from Alex Sarr. And so they're getting these wins. And Utah, who lost Walker Kessler at the beginning of the season, is not getting elite rim protection. The numbers with Alex Sarr are crazy, and Washington is getting great shooting from their players and their young draft pick. What was his name? I forgot. We were all excited about him too. Trey Johnson is shooting the lights out, and so they're a team that can win games, and that's what they're doing. Utah, we're looking at 4, and I think 3 to 4 is very likely for this Jazz team if they continue what they're doing. This current road trip they're on and this current stretch they're on is going to be tough to get wins. And like we've said, Utah on the road versus Utah at home is like 2 different teams. That's why tonight there was just not a lot of likelihood this Utah Jazz team was going to play well tonight. If you're on a Price Picks or something like that, bet the unders because they're going up against Oklahoma City tomorrow, or not tomorrow, the day after tomorrow. And this Oklahoma City team just lost big time to the Charlotte Hornets, and you can bet they're going to want to take out their frustration on this Utah Jazz team. And Utah is going to lose another one. It's going to be Utah will, and I mean, who knows? Watch. Then they go and beat the Oklahoma City Thunder in Oklahoma City, who, by the way, are 6-6 in their last 12, which is crazy. But I'm not very hopeful that this Thunder team is going to play poorly against this Utah Jazz defense. That is the literal worst in the NBA. So we shall see. But look at this. Utah at 6. They are now like almost tied with Brooklyn in the win percentage column here. Look at that. 12-23, 11-22. Brooklyn, let's see. I actually want to see this. This is interesting. Brooklyn probably plays tomorrow is my guess. Brooklyn plays Tuesday tomorrow. No, they do not. Pelicans play the Lakers. Go Pellies. Let's see. We need the Pelicans to start winning. Did they play today like Utah? Are they on a big old rest? That's crazy. So they're not playing Tuesday either. Did I miss them? So let's see. Jazz Blazers. Not showing up. But we got to look at today, by the way. Today was incredible for Utah. Yeah, Utah plays on Wednesday, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Very unlikely. Hornets have another potential win against the Raptors. The Raptors, who are one of the best defenses in the league right now. It's pretty crazy. Let's see. Pelicans play the Hawks. Very winnable game. Oh, Brooklyn plays the Magic. Is this in Barclays Center in Brooklyn? We'll see. I think that's a very winnable game for the Brooklyn Nets, who are playing well. Michael Porter Jr. is hitting shots. Clowney's good. Yegor Joman, or however you say that, is looking like one of the steals of the draft. The Nets were right when they drafted him. He's been really good. Oh my gosh, guys, my stomach is like... It's like Alien. I feel like I got an alien trying to jump out of me. Oh my gosh. We're going to power through this. Flu Game Hoops Nerd channel. All right, so 22 points for Lauri Markkanen tonight. 8 for 17 from the field. 3 for 5 from 3. Oh, but anyways, we've got to talk about this. Utah has the 6. I think 3 or 4 is completely in play, especially if the Jazz trade some of these veteran players. And who knows what they can get in the trade market, but everything should be designed to get their youth some play. I think Taylor Hendricks and Cody Williams 100% need more time, development. And if they are playing poorly, that's okay because we need them to develop. This is all win-win. It was a great game. It was a great day for the Jazz today. Look at this. This is what I wanted to show you. So Utah loses great against the Blazers, who now are, not going to pass the Jazz up. Let's see. Then we had the Charlotte Hornets beat the Oklahoma City Thunder, which now put them a game behind Utah in the lottery standings. This is great. And Charlotte's playing well. The trio of LaMelo, Miller, and Con Knipple has played really well. I'm sorry, guys. Oh, my gosh. This is flu game stuff. And then look at this. The Los Angeles Clippers beat the Golden State Warriors today. Somehow these Clippers keep winning games, but Utah's got to keep pace because the Clippers are bad. So the Clippers giving the Thunder a bad pick would be incredible if they can just keep winning. And then Utah not giving them a pick at all, incredible. Scam Presti can just cry about it. All right, let's get back to this. Lauri Markkanen, 8 for 17 from the field, 3 for 5 from 3. Offensively, this is what's crazy about tonight, is the offensive numbers are actually not that bad. And you look at the three-point percentage as a team for the Jazz, 41%. How did the Jazz lose? Well, the Portland Trail Blazers took 48 threes and made 19 of them. Utah made 13 out of 31. That and just the defensive pressure was just terrible. This Blazers team shot 52% from the field. Utah shot 48. There's just no resistance from this Jazz team. They had 93 shots while the Jazz had 92, but the majority of theirs were at the three-point line. Sometimes it's math, and it's just bad defense for Utah. Transition and three-point defense. I don't have time and don't feel particularly great right now to look up Utah's three-point defense, but you know what? We're going to power through and we're going to look it up because we're not going to wuss out. Let's see. Shot dashboard. General. Let's see. This is offensive. Defense dashboard. Here we go. 3-pointers. Dallas Mavericks. Utah is allowing the fourth worst 3-point percentage or fourth worst 3-point frequency. This may be by design. 44.7% frequency of 3-pointers, which is a glaring thing, especially tonight. I mean, look at this. 48 threes the Jazz allowed. Utah is allowing 44.7 per game. And then that percentage, let's see, 36%. Let's see, where does Utah go at 36? They are at like, well, doggone it. Why don't they number these? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So Utah's allowing just 36%. That's mid-level. So this means the contests are pretty good, but the frequency is high. So this is actually kind of interesting. I wonder if this is actually by design. I don't know. This might be tinfoil hat stuff. Defensive field goals made. Look at this. Utah is allowing the most made threes of the NBA. And we've looked at this too with transition. Utah has one of the worst transition defenses in the NBA, and they're allowing the most threes. I think Utah's going to be really good next year, and I think Utah can, let's see, field goal attempts. Look at this. This is crazy, actually. Utah's allowing the second most threes. They're allowing the most made threes, and they're allowing the fourth most frequency of threes. But that percentage of shots, like the field goal percentage, is 36% mid-level. If Utah cleans this up next year, which I assume that's what they'll do, they may change their defensive scheme to take these away. You're looking at a team that might jump a big jump from like literal worst in the NBA back to like 15 to 20 range. If Utah does that next year, don't do it this year. Let's let it go. This is working. Let's let it happen. But next year, let's take this away. And all of a sudden, you're looking at, I mean, look at this. The Pelicans doing terribly. What's interesting about this is the Thunder, who have the best defense in the NBA, 45% frequency, but that field goal percentage is 35. So they're allowing the lowest percentage. Interesting. I don't know if I'm reading this right. Defensive field goal percentage. Utah, what does this mean? Defensive field goal attempts, 3-point field goal percentage. Okay, this is field goal percentage. Utah is allowing one of the worst field goal percentages. This is, let's see. But these are 3-pointers. Okay, so sorry, guys. I'm just figuring this out as we go. Yeah, Utah is allowing the 5th worst 3-point field goal percentage. It's not good. That's why they're losing. Can you clean this up? And then field goal percentage, I don't know. Why is there? Oh, yeah, this is for twos. So when you look at this, field goal percentage, Utah's actually doing pretty well on the 2, defending the 2. But it's the 3, according to this. Yeah, I could be reading this wrong. But Utah is allowing the 5th worst 3-point field goal percentage, and then defensive field goal attempts, the 2nd worst. So that is the problem. On top of that, it's the transition. If Utah cleans up their transition, or at least becomes league average, and if they clean this up and be league average, whether it's in defensive field goal percentage and just lowering that, like the Oklahoma City Thunder. Man, how is the Thunder here? This is what makes this weird. Weird. I don't know. But anyways, this is a good sign that there's some things that the Utah Jazz can clean up. And a lot of it is just the 3-point defense. Now, is that coaching? Is that personnel? I guess we'll find out. But if, let's say everything works out great and Utah gets like the 1 or 2 pick and they decide to pick AJ DeBonsa, and you have a starting unit of Keontae George, Ace Bailey, AJ DeBonsa, Lauri Markkanen, and then you either re-sign Walker Kessler or you go find a center that fits whatever you want to do offensively and defensively. I'm kind of hoping that the Jazz are able to get Walker Kessler back in the $20 to $25 million range. I think he's proven that he's worth that. Any more than that, and I get really nervous because what we're seeing this year is that, honestly, Yusuf Nurkic is playing pretty well. And it's really not Nurkic. I mean, some of the stuff with Nurkic is him not being able to get out to the three-point line is hurting a little bit, but it's not all him. Utah's allowing threes all over the board. And that's not just the Jazz in general, it's the league, but Utah needs to figure out a way to take away these three-point attempts. And I think they probably can do that with Walker Kessler moving around. So, but anyways, Utah offensively has a chance to be special with something like that. Defensively is the question. With this unit, basically switching out Svi Mikhailiuk for AJ DeBonsa, and then Nurkic for Walker Kessler. How good can this unit be defensively? We'll see. It's worth wondering. All right, so we talked about Markkanen. It's just a defensive thing. He was a -23, and Keontae George was a -26. They just didn't play particularly well tonight. Mostly just this Jazz team just defensively was bad. It's just bad, so that's why they're losing these games. Markkanen still manages to put up a good percentage here, but I think this Jazz team is one piece away from really competing, and that's why it's good to keep this pick, and it's good to win the lottery. Let's just hope. Can we get the luck we need to win this lottery, right? Nurkic probably had the best night of anyone. He was a -10 in a blowout loss. 9 for 12 from the field, 2 for 3 from 3, 21 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists. Nurkic is an elite defensive rebounder. He is big. He may not have the best rim protection numbers ever, but he's just a big body that rebounds really well, and he sets really good screens. And so, when we talk Walker Kessler and how much the Jazz are going to pay him, got to be careful because you've got contracts coming up as well for Keontae George, who is looking like a star, and you got to make sure you have money to pay him. And you've got some other guys coming up that you're going to have to pay. So I don't know if you're going to really have to pay a lot of these guys a lot. Taylor Hendricks hasn't really shown enough yet that you're giving him a ton, but you're definitely going to pay him and keep him because of the potential. I think Cody Williams has earned himself somewhere between $2 and $8 million a year. Why not? I mean, the dunking right now is great. But yeah, we'll see. And then Bryce Sensabaugh, probably a small contract is worth giving to him. I don't think you're going to throw a ton of money at Bryce. If someone wants to give Bryce Sensabaugh $10 million a year, I'm probably like, have good luck. But if you can get Bryce Sensabaugh for like some $3 to $6 million or something like that a year for a good amount of time, that's worth doing because he does show some signs and he does play pretty decently. Tonight, not so much. Let's see. Speaking of Sensabaugh, 3 for 11 from the field, 2 for 4 from 3. He hasn't been playing particularly well this season. That's why you can probably just throw him a cheaper contract and hopefully you get some more consistency out of him. When he's hitting threes, he's really nice. And I think his best role is off the bench, but off as a starter, it's not worked. And this has kind of been a big tank commander type thing. He's just not played well, and it kind of throws a wrench in things. Keontae George struggled tonight, although that's because he's going against Toumani Camara, who's arguably the best perimeter defender in the NBA. So this was a good challenge for Key. 15 points, 4 assists, 4 rebounds. Just went to the line, he had 4 attempts, so went to the line twice. Not the worst. I mean, considering this was probably a bad night for Key, and we're getting used to him just being a star, he still goes 41% from the field. And just 1 for 2 from 3. Pretty impressive that he can do that on a night he played poorly against a really big-time defender. You'd obviously like to see that improve. This is on the road, but you know what? He's putting up numbers, and not everyone's going to have the best night ever every single night. We'll see it. I have a feeling, I don't know if it's just the Jazz, but it feels like all of a sudden something shifted with the referees. And this happened last year too, where there was just a sudden, at some point, the officiating changed to where there weren't as many free throws being called. And tonight, Keontae George gets 4 when we've been used to him getting somewhere in the 6 to 10 range night after night. So just something to watch. Like, is the NBA going to just be a little bit less free throw heavy? We'll see. Because Keontae George has been elite at drawing free throws. And if he's not getting that, he's still putting up efficiency, which is nice to see. But, drawing those free throws has been a big part of what's made him so lethal. So we shall see. Taylor Hendricks played 18 minutes tonight. It felt like less, but I was happy that he kind of played some of the garbage minutes at the end. So I'm kind of getting annoyed with the short leash that he's getting. I'll be honest. It feels like he has a shorter leash than anyone. And looking at the time tonight, the only one who played less than him was Walter Clayton. And sometimes it doesn't make a lot of sense. You look at the offensive numbers, 3 for 4 from the field, 1 for 1 from 3, 5 rebounds, an assist, a steal, minus 13. Why is he not getting a little bit more run? I would like to see him get some more time as a backup center. I think that can be a role he can fill at times. And we know how dynamic he can be in different ways. I don't know. Feels like that leash for Hendricks is really short. And he makes any sort of mistake. Like tonight, he had like a steal that, by the way, he created, and he drove down the court. But then when he went, if you can remember, he drove inside and got a charge and was pulled right after. And it's like, he created that steal, by the way. And what would be nice is if he could learn and be allowed to kind of adjust as the game goes on. 18 minutes I'm happy with because that's more than the DNPs he's been getting a lot of this season. But I would like that leash to be a little bit longer. Can we just let him make a few mistakes? And that's why I'm excited for trade deadline, because we're literally 1 month away from trade deadline. Please trade Svi Mikhailuk. Please trade Yusuf Nurkic. Please trade Kevin Love so that Taylor Hendricks can get that time and can play through his mistakes and improve, because Utah needs Taylor Hendricks for the same reason we've been talking about this defensive numbers that are terrible. You need Taylor Hendricks to learn how to use his defensive tools now, right? And maybe that makes you a little bit too competitive than you'd like, but you know what? The most important thing is Utah keeps their pick. The next thing that's most important is developing their youth. They need Taylor Hendricks and Cody Williams to be good, because come next season, Utah is very likely adding another nice prospect, and they need Taylor Hendricks and Cody Williams to be good, because they spent 2 seasons being bad just to draft those guys, and to have them not be good would be very bad. So let's let Taylor Hendricks develop, please. As far as bad defenders go, Kyle Filipowski was 5 for 8 from the field, 13 points, 5 rebounds and 2 assists. He actually played solid tonight when you look at the numbers. The defense is just not very good, and it's something that I want to watch next year too, because I just feel like this is something that gets on my nerves a little bit, is guys that play well offensively seem to get all the minutes, but the guys who are more defensive specialists, that's what makes the whole Taylor Hendricks thing is weird. It's just weird, and I don't get it. I don't know if it's them protecting him as he recovers from injury, because I'm sure that recovery is still happening for Hendricks because of that leg stuff. But I don't know. Filipowski seems to get to have these minutes no matter what, and he's not a very good defender. And this may all be just part of the tank. Who knows? I know Filipowski at the rim is just terrible, and so that helps this Jazz defense do that. We may not see a lot of Filipowski next year, especially if the Jazz use their free agency money to get kind of two-way players to fill the roster. There's going to be it's going to be interesting to see who the Jazz can kind of get next year with free agency money to fill in the gaps, especially after what they do, come lottery night. Isaiah Collier, 29 minutes, 10 points, 8 assists. I like what he brings. He was just a -1 tonight, which is interesting. I don't know. I like the defensive intensity. I like the physicality he plays with. He needs to be able to shoot the ball, but I think that's actually coming around. But he didn't shoot the ball at once tonight. He had one corner three that he passed up on, and you got to take that. But he played 29 minutes tonight and was just a -1 in those 29 minutes in a game the Jazz lost by a lot. So I think that tells you something, and I think a little bit of that is just his defense. The other one that's interesting is Cody Williams. 20 minutes tonight, 4 for 9 from the field, 8 points. He is now good for at least one awesome dunk a night. He dunks like ferociously every game, to the point now where I expect it, that Cody Williams is going to the basket and he is going to dunk on you. And Cody Williams starting to do a little bit more. 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, +3 in a game the Jazz lost by 20 points. Not bad. 4 for 9 from the field. The 3-point shot is putrid, but I think it can come around. But 4 for 9 from the field, but 4 for 7 from 2. He's driving and scoring at the rim at a nice level. In fact, I need to write about this or do a video about it. But Cody Williams is absolutely turning it around this season. It's nice to see. And finally, we mentioned it briefly, but Walter Clayton played 13 minutes. He's looking a little small out there lately, right? There's a little bit more confidence with Collier than with Clayton. Clayton still has nights where he plays really well. But he's just figuring it out. It's, he's a 23-year-old rookie that needs to just kind of figure things out. But he is, it's interesting. He'll have nights like he had against the Spurs where he's just perfect and looks like a star. And then he'll have 2 or 3 games in a row like this where he looks very much like a rookie just trying to find his spot in the league. But nice that he got 13 minutes. Another reason to trade Svi Mikhailiuk so that Walter Clayton can get a few more minutes and just more consistent minutes, instead of just throwing them away to Svi Mikhailiuk, which makes no sense at all. All right. I got to probably end this one here soon, although I think we've gone pretty well tonight. Where are we at? I don't see where we're at minutes-wise, but it's pretty good. All right, let's see. We got updated tank rankings. We've already looked at this. Utah at 6 now. Amazing. And I think Utah in the past has been at 6 and has gotten lucky in the past. So maybe 6 is the lucky spot. Let's see. If the lottery was tonight, what would happen? Not the lucky night, but Utah keeps the pick, even though dropping twice. That's why getting to 6 and better is important. Utah keeps the pick. Clippers give the number 3 pick, though, goes to the Clippers. Oh, that was horrible. Or the number 3 pick goes to the Thunder. Just terrible. Dallas gets the number 2, and Brooklyn gets the number 1 pick. In this mock, that gives Utah Koa Pete at Arizona, who looks like an absolute beast at the 4. He's awesome. Comes off the bench, though, which is kind of interesting. I don't know. By the way, I get to see BYU play Utah and go see AJ DeBonza. I think it's this Saturday. So I will be there. If there's a Jazz game that night, let's see. Is there a Jazz game that night? Saturday the 10th. Perfect. Look at that. No Jazz game. Yeah. Oh, wait. No! That's the big one, too. The Hornets. I may miss that one, guys. We'll see. But I'm going to be courtside at BYU Utah to watch AJ Bonsa. So I'm excited about it. All right, let's see. Let's give a shout out to the All-Stars tonight. Let's give a shout out to Suya, Lexo Later, Ryan Perry, the legend. The name means king. Jace is the ace Garner. Steve Arito, Stooser. Let him cook 30 pots. Ezekiel and Raicibe, the man from down under. Tyson Price, the price is right. Jordan the GOAT, Festival. Christian House Money to Haas. Robert Hall of Fame, Art